Peters and Lance Newmark are going to be making the picks that matter. Here with picks that don't matter is the Mitch and JP Mock Draft Spectacular. We're just doing the top 100. I'm going to start this thing. If you're a regular listener to the pod, I don't think it's a surprise. I entirely think Drake May's a possibility, maybe even J.J. McCarthy. But in my draft, I'm taking Jaden Daniels.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you. I love the big men, and in any other draft, I'd be looking at Joe Alt. But you're at a point at number 2 where you got to get that quarterback, and to me, that's going to be Jaden Daniels as well.
You got to hit a pause in there, dude. All right, let's get to number 36. They obviously need a tackle. Anybody that's been paying attention, they did not address left tackle. They let Charles Leno go. They've got to draft somebody. I think we both think they should trade back up. But for the purposes here, give me Jordan Morgan, the big fella out of Arizona. It's a hope, I'd say, that he could play left tackle.
I think he'll be able to play left tackle in the league. I think the concern, he's got a little bit of T-Rex arms, but makes up for it with quick feet, which is important. But I agree with you. I'm going to take Jordan Morgan here. I think he can step right in and play right away.
Did you think about Pat Paul there?
I give Patrick Paul a thought there, but I'm a little bit concerned about some of the development stuff. You heard Dane Brugler talk.
It's a little
about,
rich.
And you heard Dane Brugler talk about the length of his arms being an issue. And that's where you can look at kind of the difference between a guy like Jordan Morgan and Patrick Paul.
All right. Let's get to number 40 now. I think this is a real opportunity. If you're watching, when we're watching this unfold, you can package these in a lot of different ways and get back into that first round for a tackle. I still think there's a real good chance that happens. But for this purpose, give me TJ Tampa. They're desperate at corner. They were bad last year. I mean, their pass defense was abysmal. You got to add talent. I like Tampa out of Iowa State.
I agree. They definitely need some help on defense, but if you're going with a young quarterback and working on the offensive line, we've seen them take a ton of defensive players the past couple of years in the draft. I'm going to stick and give him a little more help and go with Keon Coleman out of Florida State. He's a big body. He's 6'3". He's a big target in the red zone. He can make a lot of good catches, soft hands. And in that first game of the season against LSU, 9 catches, 122 yards, and 3 TDs. Not too bad.
This is the anti-Ron Rivera draft right here.
It is.
All offense, all the time.
Let's go.
Let's get to number 67. I do think, I recognize they signed a bunch of guys throughout free agency, but a lot of these guys they signed as edge rushers are primarily on one-year deals. Listen, Chris Braswell is a really good pass rusher. I don't think he's a 3-down defensive end. I don't know that he helps you set the edge, but this is the kind of guy for me that could develop into a 7-8 sack a season guy, and he's kind of a pass rush specialist. Well, it's a passing league, folks. You need dudes like that, and I think Braswell helps you. I don't think he's going to be there at 67.
Right. I think both of our picks at 67. I'm going to go with.
They're from PFF. Don't blame us.
Right. Mike Sainers still from Michigan. PFF kind of generated these lists for us. He's a veteran guy. He's a leader on that Michigan football team in the national championship game. 81-yard pick 6 against Michael Penix. He's a guy who can go out and make plays. We know how much Dan Quinn, Joe Witt want to go make plays. He's a guy that can do it.
Sure. All right. Let's get to number 78. Bruce Smith. The Bruce Smith pick. Right?
Yeah.
That's got to be the most famous 78, right?
Of course.
Okay.
Of course.
Here, for me, I got to tell you, I'm going, the guy you liked, Big K, the tackle out of Yale, visited here. I think you're drafting Big K. Kieran Amagaji, hopefully I said that right.
Nailed it.
Trying, Big
Nailed
K.
it.
You're drafting him to be your starting right tackle in 2025. Andrew Wiley's got guaranteed money left on his deal this year. I think next year the organization probably moves on, unless his play really develops. I don't want to knock the guy. But this is I asked Peters, hey, when do you take developmental guys? 78 is when you take developmental guys.
Yeah, young guy, not a lot of tread on those tires, super athletic. I think he can step in a couple of years.
He's got to be smart. He played at Yale.
For me, I'm going to take a guy who I think can step in a little bit quicker and help out, and that's going to be Jeremiah Trotter Jr. Of course, Commanders fans know him from his time in Philly and obviously his time in Washington. His dad's time in Philly and Washington, of course.
You recognize that name.
He's a guy that can step in and play, and for him to be able to learn under Bobby Wagner would be a huge boon for him and help him out in his development. He called the plays at Clemson. He made a lot of plays at Clemson. Again, another vet guy who spent some time in college who can go and do it right away.
All right, my 100th pick. This is a pick I really would like to see. I think Adam Peters is part of an organization that has a track record of finding great tight ends deeper in the draft. I think that's really where you find great tight ends, is deeper in the draft. Theo Johnson, big kid out of Penn State. Not a ton of offensive output, but that Penn State offense didn't have a ton of offensive output. When he got opportunities, he performed well. I think he helps you a lot. Obviously, it's Zach Ertz this year, but I think when Kingsbury's offense is at its best, there's a lot of 12 personnel. Sure, it'll be John Keyshawn Bates kind of to start. I think that's a real opportunity. I think that's a real fit.
And you're looking for red zone targets, and that's a guy like Keon Coleman for me. That's why I went kind of that direction. But for me
Big
here,
6'4" guy or whatever.
Yeah,
Coleman, right?
I'm going to go get an edge rusher. I'm going to go get Austin Booker out of Kansas. He's not an every down edge, but he is a guy who's a pass rush specialist and can get in and get after the quarterback.
You're probably not getting every down DNs at pick 100, right?
I'll tell you what.
At some point, it's a balancing act.
We should see players play a lot quicker with this organization than we did previous regimes.
Significant lack of talent, so they should be able to get on the field. When we come back, we're making bets. That's right. CQ always helps us out, always has us make our picks. We're making our CQ draft picks next. Hey, make sure you're subscribing to Beltway Football wherever you get your podcasts, whether it's Spotify, Apple Pods, any of them. Subscribe, download, like, give somebody a hug.